Good morning, students. Today our topic is video demonstration of peritoneum. So as you already know, this was anterior abdominal wall. We have already discussed anterior abdominal wall. There were all the three layers of anterior abdominal wall, flat layers and the vertical muscle. Here was rectus abdominis. We have discussed already inguinal canal, spermatic cord and testis. Now we have to expose peritoneum. To expose peritoneum, we have to reflect this anterior abdominal wall. So we have already reflected it. So as you can say, I am removing this anterior abdominal wall as we have already dissected it. So now area, as you can see here, this is peritoneum. This is peritoneum. This was here anterior abdominal wall. This is the under surface of anterior abdominal wall. As you can appreciate the fibers of transverse abdominis here. These are the fibers of transverse abdominis, and this was the posterior wall of rectus sheath. And here we have rectus abdominis muscle. So this was anterior abdominal wall. Now coming to the today's topic, which is peritoneum. After removing anterior abdominal wall, the area exposed here, now you can see it is covered by a layer, a serous membrane, which is called peritoneum. This is peritoneum. This layer here is parietal peritoneum. Now what is peritoneum? Peritoneum is a large closed serous sac. It is a large closed serous sac which is invaginated by abdominal viscera. Which is invaginated by many abdominal viscera. So as a result, it has two layers. As it is invaginated by abdominal viscera, so it has two layers. This layer is the outer layer. This layer is called parietal peritoneum. This layer is called parietal peritoneum, and another layer which covers the viscera, abdominal viscera, is called visceral peritoneum, which is inside, which surrounds the various abdominal viscera. So this is parietal peritoneum, as you can see here. Now we are going to cut this parietal peritoneum and we will expose the peritoneal cavity. To expose the peritoneal cavity, we have to give a cruciate incision. So in a cross manner. So this we have already done this cruciate incision. After giving this incision, we have to reflect all the flaps of parietal peritoneum. Now you are within the peritoneal cavity. This is peritoneal cavity, the potential space. This is peritoneal cavity, and as you can see, the various viscera of abdomen, they are oriented here. So now just have a look on the organs. So superiorly we have a large organ here. This is liver. This is liver. Just below the liver we have this structure here. This is the stomach. This J-shaped structure here is stomach. Now hanging from the stomach, there is a curtain-like structure, as you can see here. This is greater omentum, and after reflecting this greater omentum, you can see various loops of intestine, various loops of small intestine, basically jejunum and ileum. So these are loops of intestine. As you can see behind this greater omentum, you can also appreciate the transverse colon here. This is the transverse colon. This is the general orientation of the viscera present within the peritoneal cavity. And now coming to the folds of peritoneum, which are visible within this cavity. Now you can see, before discussing folds, you can see this organ here above the liver. This organ here, as you can see the fibers, this is diaphragm. You can appreciate the diaphragm on both sides. These are the fibers of diaphragm. Also below the diaphragm, this layer was parietal peritoneum. We have reflect parietal peritoneum, and after reflecting above the umbilicus, you can see, after reflecting this parietal peritoneum above the level of umbilicus, you can see a fold of peritoneum here, which is reflecting on the liver. This fold of peritoneum here is called falciform ligament. This fold is called falciform ligament. This is falciform ligament. Falciform ligament is a sickle-shaped fold of peritoneum. It attaches the liver, or it reflects on liver on both sides, and it has a free margin. It has a free lower margin. This free lower margin is raised by a ligament. This free margin of falciform ligament is raised by a ligament called ligamentum teres. Ligamentum teres is the remnant of left umbilical vein. So this ligamentum teres, as you can see here, this is the free margin. It is raised by a ligament called ligamentum teres. Ligamentum teres extends from the umbilicus to inferior surface of liver. It is extending up to the inferior surface of liver from umbilicus. So this is ligamentum teres. So this fold of peritoneum here is falciform ligament. This is falciform ligament. Now coming to the greater omentum. This is greater omentum. Again the fold of peritoneum. This greater omentum hangs from the greater curvature of stomach. So this is stomach here. This structure here is stomach. This is the greater curvature of stomach, and it hangs from the greater curvature of stomach. This curtain-like structure is like an apron, is called greater omentum. This is mainly laden by a variable amount of fat and also contains various small vessels. Near the greater curvature, it contains here right and left gastroepiploic vessels. It contains right and left gastroepiploic vessels, and near the lower part it contains the branches of these gastroepiploic vessels. Now this is stomach and this is liver. As we reflect the liver just upwards and expose its inferior surface, so you can see there is another fold of peritoneum extending from the lesser curvature of stomach up to the liver, which is extending from the lesser curvature of stomach to the liver. This fold of peritoneum here is called lesser omentum. This fold of peritoneum here called lesser omentum. So this lesser omentum has a free right margin. This is its free right border or right margin. Here, this right free margin of lesser omentum contains three important structures. We have not dissected this structure here yet, but we will show you later. So this is right free margin of lesser omentum. It contains three important structures. What are the structures? These are portal vein, proper hepatic artery, and bile duct here. So behind this right free margin of lesser omentum, if you put a finger down here, you can feel a opening here. You can feel opening inside behind this right free margin of lesser omentum. This opening is called, as I am inserting forceps into this foramen, so this opening here is called epiploic foramen. This opening here is called epiploic foramen. Epiploic foramen is the communication between greater sac and lesser sac. It is a communication between greater sac and lesser sac. This is the area of greater sac, and behind the stomach and lesser omentum and liver we have another sac, another potential space, which is called lesser sac. So this is the opening of lesser omentum. This is epiploic foramen. This is the opening of lesser sac, epiploic foramen. Now this was lesser omentum, opening of epiploic foramen. Now coming to the, so this was greater omentum. We have reflected it already. This structure here is transverse colon. So from the transverse colon, as you can see here, this structure, this is the fold of peritoneum again. This is called transverse mesocolon. This transverse mesocolon suspends the transverse colon, and it will get attached to the posterior abdominal wall, and it will attach to the pancreas, anterior border of pancreas and the anterior surface of head of pancreas. So this will get attached to the pancreas. So this is this structure here called transverse mesocolon. Now coming to the loops of intestine. These all are the loops of jejunum and ileum. As you can see, one of the loop, this is also suspended by a fold of peritoneum, which is called mesentery. So this is mesentery. Loops of jejunum and ileum, they suspend by this fold of peritoneum called mesentery. This fold of peritoneum is fan shaped. It has a small posterior border and large anterior border. So it has two borders, basically the posterior border or the attached border of this mesentery. As you can appreciate here, this is the mesentery here. It is fan shaped. It has an attached border. It has an attached border and a free border. This attached border here is called a root of mesentery. As you can see, it is attached here on the posterior abdominal wall. This is called root of mesentery. It attached along a oblique line which extends from the duodenojejunal flexure to the ileocecal junction. So this is an oblique line, and it will cross various structures. From left to right, it will cross abdominal aorta, it will cross inferior vena cava, the right psoas major muscle, and the right ureter muscle, right ureter. So this was root of mesentery. So this was the attached border of mesentery, and we have the free or intestinal border of mesentery. This free intestinal border will cover the loop of intestine, jejunum and ileum. So this attached border is small. It is about 15 cm in length, 12 to 15 cm in length, and this free border is long and it is about 6 meters in length. This is all about mesentery of small intestine. Now coming to the parts of large intestine which are visible here. As you can appreciate here, this broad structure here is cecum, and this structure here, this worm like structure here, is vermiform appendix. And above this is ascending colon. Just near the liver we have hepatic flexure, and it will continue as transverse colon. Then behind we have a flexure here. This is splenic flexure, and this downwards extension here is called descending colon, and this is sigmoid colon here. As you can see, sigmoid colon, S-shaped sigmoid colon. This is sigmoid colon. So this is the colon or the large intestine. So on the either side of, or we can say on the lateral side of descending colon and ascending colon, we have spaces. These are called gutters. These are called paracolic gutters. As you can see, an area here, this area is called the left paracolic gutter, left lateral paracolic gutter. It is lateral to the descending colon. This part is descending colon. It is lateral to the descending colon, and it is limited above by a ligament. We cannot appreciate the ligament here, but above it is limited by a ligament called phrenicocholic ligament. So this was left paracolic gutter. If we reflect these loops of intestine, this side, this was cecum and ascending colon. So lateral to the ascending colon, we have another space here, another area. This area is called right paracolic gutter. This is called right paracolic gutter. This right paracolic gutter communicates with the potential space above. This space here is called hepatorenal pouch. Hepatorenal pouch. Hepatorenal pouch is bounded anteriorly by liver, posteriorly by upper part of right kidney. So this space is called hepatorenal pouch. So right paracolic gutter communicates with the hepatorenal pouch above. So these were paracolic gutters. We have discussed mesentery. This is mesentery here. This mesentery is mainly laden by fat, variable amount of fat. And this was the tegumentum. We have seen falciform ligament. We have seen lesser omentum. epiploic foramen, and also the parts of intestine. So this is all about the brief about the introduction of peritoneum.